Happy New Year to everyone. Today I made a phone call and I'm going to play it in a second, and we're going to demonstrate something very clear in that these politicians are very dishonourable men. The way they treat you on the phone and the way they speak to you is like you're totally subordinate to them. Wards of the state being managed by men that are not of God. Men that are corporate in their ideology and treat you like the prisoners of war that you are. Enslave you, bankrupt you, pull the rug out from under your feet and insider trade and profit off you at the same time. Now, we can see by a document released by the Treasury Department that there are some serious questions in relation to the Paladin contracts in the very first place. But then there are questions as to how Peter Dutton would profit from such a contract, knowing that it was going to take place, much like Nancy Pelosi did in the United States. Very much the same. They know what's going on, they know the contracts that are being issued out, and they put money into the share market and then by their hand give these companies contracts and watch the share price go up and profit from them. Don't you, Peter Dutton? Right? We can make an accusation very clearly that this reeks of insider trading, and it could be alleged that Peter Dutton has been involved in what's called insider trading. It could also be alleged that Peter Dutton, while taking profit from the Crown as a public servant, has used that position to take profit from a company of more than 25 employees. No wonder these people stay in career politics. No wonder these people don't observe terms of office. They can sit there for term after term after term after term and mind manipulate the population and bankrupt it, putting you into poverty, making you pay a debt off till the year 2080, Frydenberg said. Now, we can see in the media today that they are saying that Australia will not get out of this poverty until the year 2030, which starkly aligns with this Agenda 2030 coming out of those money masters in the World Economic Forum, wherein these politicians do the bidding of those foreign interests going against Section 44.1 and Section 44.2 of the Constitution. This is evident by Pauline Hanson wearing an Israeli scarf in the Parliament after our very Parliament and the senators and representatives did lie very starkly about October 7th and all the actions of genocide that are happening in Palestine. We could say that people like Peter Dutton aid and abet war criminals while taking profit from private interests while working as public servants under the Crown. We could say that that is administrative fraud under the Hague and Geneva Conventions. We could say that a genocide is taking place in our own lands by these politicians that serve those foreign interests, putting their hand in the bucket for themselves. Peter Dutton got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And what I'm going to play for you is a phone call to Peter Dutton's office, and I want you to pay very stark attention to the way that they treat a random caller that may or may not have an interest in the media or politics or the law for that matter. It could have been any one of you. It could have been a real media journalist. It could have been a real constitutional lawyer. Oh, that's right. The Supreme Court of Queensland called me that lawyer. The justice said, I see two lawyers before me, and I looked around the courtroom, and there was only one other man in that courtroom called a police prostituter. A police prostituter. The one that rapes you for your money on behalf of the state. So we could say a human trafficker and myself presented before the Supreme Court and was called a lawyer. When we look at this phone call, I want you to consider that it could have been you calling. And the abuse that came out of Peter Dutton's office and the assumptions that were made are very clear. Peter, did my phone number come up on the screen? And did a whole bunch of text come up on the computer that said, Steve's calling? Is that why you went into that rant? Because you know that there are war criminals among you that force medically procedured an entire population, a military, the police department, nurses, right? And you think by the way you talk to people and treat them like wards of state that you're not accountable for your actions? You might want to think twice, Peter Dutton. You might want to think 3 times now that you've committed an act of administrative fraud called insider trading. And if that could be proven to be correct, when we look at the decisions of the Treasury here, in that the whole entire contract that was created in the first place was a waste of money, a waste of time, and a useless contract. But it went ahead anyway, because some sort of insider trading was going on, wasn't it, Peter Dutton? These are all alleged, of course. This all alleged, of course. But it reeks of Pong, Peter Dutton. And the entire country can see it now that you've enslaved them into poverty for the foreseeable future and the future of their bloodlines. Who do you serve, Peter, under that constitution, under the blessing of Almighty God?
Peter Dutton's office.
Yes, good morning. Just got a question for your office.
Yes, mate.
What do you think of insider trading?
Well, obviously it's illegal, and we obviously, would follow the law and condemn it.
Right, so what would you think about the company called Paladin?
That's a mining company from memory, is that right?
Right, so would you have given this company some sort of government benefit or some sort of right to do something that Peter Dutton might have known about beforehand?
That's highly unlikely, but what's the case you have in point?
Well, just wanting to ask Peter if he's actually doing the act of insider trading.
No, that would be, no.
Could you explain the $300 million revenue that he's created from Paladin?
Are you being serious?
Yes, I'm being serious. Very, very serious.
Sounds like you've got a little bit of time on your hands and you're just wasting it looking for stuff, is that right?
No. The news have reported that Peter Dutton has earned $300 million from Paladin. The news has reported that Paladin has...
What news are you referring to, by the way?
The media, Channel 7, Channel 9, news.com.au, the Daily Telegraph, you know, the normal media.
The Murdoch media that you would normally hate.
So it's Murdoch now. It's not Peter Dutton, it's Murdoch that made $300 million.
You would normally hate, and now suddenly you love it because they think they've got a hit on Peter.
Oh, so you are having a go at me.
See how your values change?
So you're having a go at me because of media.
No, I'm just saying.
I asked you a question and you've gone into full defence mode.
Normally, I'm not defensive, I'm just saying like you would be hating on Rupert Murdoch.
What's a person like me?
Suddenly News.com has a story allegedly about...
Can you explain what a person like me is?
And now you're jumping all over it. Isn't that sad?
Can you explain what a person like me is?
Someone that is just looking for any sort of political advantage because you hate somebody, probably.
What do I care about politics?
Tell me a couple of nice things about Peter Dutton for a start.
Well, he's the ex-Home Affairs Minister, right? He's the one that increased all of the policing in the country and took away people's rights under Home Affairs. So we could go into Peter's...
I shouldn't have trusted you with a question like that.
We could go into Peter's history very clearly.
Bottom line is, mate...
Do you like talking over people?
Peter's a very honourable person.
How is he honourable?
Any of this. You might resent him for that. That's your problem.
I don't have any... You make assumptions. How have I resented Peter? I asked you a very simple question in relation to insider trading.
A very simple response. He's a very honourable person that doesn't engage in that sort of stuff.
So how does he earn $300 million?
Well, mate, I don't go through his financial affairs.
Shouldn't you?
I don't know, but I trust him 1,000%.
So does that go against Section 40?
You need to do the same thing.
Does that go against Section 44 of the Constitution?
What, are you some sort of constitutional scholar now, are you?
Oh, so you're making threats and accusations and derogatory comments, right?
Grow up.
Grow up. I should grow up.
You're being immature.
As a constituent of this...
First of all, you started off as a Murdoch-inspired News Limited journalist.
No, I didn't.
You had some sort of gotcha on insider trading. Now you're pretending to be some sort of
I asked you a simple question.
The bottom line is...
You've gone off on a tangent, mate.
I get you have a personal grievance against Peter Dutton.
Why don't you ever let people talk?
I would just ask you to sort that out amongst yourselves.
Why don't you ever let people talk?
In your head?
Why don't you ever let people talk? Why are you always talk and take the entire conversation?
Well, because there's so many lies I can deal with at once.
Are you a servant of the public? A public servant? Are you obligated to the Constitution? Are you obligated to your constituents?
I'm terrified to speak in case you think I'm talking over you.
Right, so are you obligated to any of these things? And I asked you a very simple question. And it was about insider trading. And you went off on a full defence tangent, calling it Murdoch Media.
No.
Why can't you answer the question?
And then after I'd said no, I then started exploring your motives.
What motives have I got? So you manipulate this into having a motive.
Over the top of you.
So you manipulate this into having a motive.
No.
What if the motive was...
I'll give you a direct answer.
What if the motive was the defence of our country?
And now you need to accept that answer and say, thank you very much. I accept your answer. Goodbye. What if the motive was the defence of our country? I think the motive might be a little bit more sinister than that. I think you're making this very personal. And
how have I made it personal?
I feel like you're making it nasty.
You feel like it.
Probably in this conversation.
You feel like... Is this the way you treat your constituents, is it?
No. You're a constituent, are you? Whereabouts are you calling from?
Of course I am. I live in this country. Right, I live in the Commonwealth of Australia under the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act.
Whereabouts are you calling from?
From within the country.
Whereabouts within the country?
Right, that's not your concern, is it?
Yes, exactly. You see, mate.
I live in Queensland, okay? I'm a Queenslander, okay?
Enjoy yourself.
I've recorded your entire conversation. I've recorded the entire conversation, mate.
So what?
It is very obvious to us.
Is that also illegal according
You're
to the
a public
Constitution?
servant.
Mate,
you work in public office. Do you not understand that?
Yeah, but do you understand that you can't go around pretending that you're a constitutional scholar and doing things illegally?
What makes me a constitutional scholar? I asked you
keep throwing the Constitution at me that you're illegally recording things at the same time.
How am I being illegal? You're a public servant. You work in public office. You're a servant to the people.
I gave you very, very direct answers, and I was exploring your sinister motives.
Oh, my sinister motives. My sinister motives.
You go back to the beach, and Peter Dutton has done nothing wrong.
Go back to the beach.
Perfectly honourable guy.
You're insulting the Australian people by what you speak. You really are. Go back to the beach. Is that your answer as a public servant to the people?
I'm saying that you could use your time in a nicer manner.
I asked
trying to look for angry.
I asked a simple question, mate, and you turned it into this.
Simple answer.
You turned it into this.
Simple answer.
Very right, and you wouldn't follow up on those questions about insider trading and how Peter Dutton earned so much money. Now, you won't let me speak, will you? Now,
stupid insider.
Now, you won't let me speak, will you? Now, what if the Murdoch media is incorrect? Is Peter going to come out and make a statement of that incorrect reporting by the Murdoch media?
Please, use your time now to be nice to people.
Why don't you answer the questions in relation to Peter Dutton's insider trading?
Don't try and defame the man's character. He's a very, very perfect
I'm making an accusation that you've made an act of insider trading.
He's done wonderful things for the country. You should be a little bit
Has he, as Home Affairs, he's taken away people's rights? Is that wonderful, is it? I should be grateful, should I, for having...
You should also call the Prime Minister's office and record that conversation.
The Prime Minister doesn't accept phone calls after Scott Morrison.
You recording an answering machine. That would be fantastic. You recording an answering machine.
You've
Call
just...
the Prime Minister's office.
Yeah, Scott Morrison used to answer the phone. Why doesn't Albanese take phone calls?
Yeah, exactly. Good question, mate.
Right.
Call their office now.
Right. Scott Morrison's office used to answer the phone. Why does Albanese's office not?
Peter Dutton's office does as well. Peter Dutton's office as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of insider trading, let it go. There's nothing there.
Oh, let it go. It's all right for someone to know about something before it's going to happen.
Malicious and defamatory.
It's all right for a politician to know about something happening before it happens.
Be in a nice way. Be a nice person.
I am a nice person.
Be a nice person.
You're the one that's not being very nice right now. Look at the way you're talking.
Against my boss.
Look at... you're being derogatory against my boss. I'm asking you questions as...
Nasty and defamatory.
I'm asking you questions as a public servant.
I've responded to them.
Right,
why don't you do some public service and go out and be nice to someone?
I do every day, mate.
Gotta go.
I've just flabbergasted. Totally flabbergasted that you would treat people like this.
I'm saying have a great New Year. What's wrong with that?
Well, you accused me
to other people and have a great
You accused me and abused me for asking Peter Dutton about insider trading.
Well, you're being silly and defamatory.
I'm being silly. So it's all right
for... Go and be a nice person.
It's all right for politicians. See, you won't let me speak. You won't let me speak.
You're being malicious and defamatory.
No, I don't get a chance to speak. Right? I asked you...
Go away and be nice to other people.
I'm going to ask you a very simple question. I'm going to ask you one very simple question.
Okay, this is the last chance. Okay, what's your simple question?
Do you think it's all right that politicians know things beforehand and then...
I answered the question when you very first rang.
Right, no, you didn't.
I said, no, of course not.
You turned this into
you know that as well.
See, you won't let me speak. Mate. Thanks.
I've given you a lot of time.
It's going up on Twitter.
Evening.
And what line of work are you in, Lars?
Well, interesting, Brian. We've just had to give a new name to the sort of work we do. We've had to
you've changed the name of the job.
Yeah, we had to describe it differently, Brian.
What was that?
Well, we were getting calls from people we frankly didn't want as our customers. We needed to perhaps reposition the business.
You were attracting the wrong crowd.
Indeed, Brian, and we needed to rebrand it, I suppose.
And what do you actually do?
We repair incendiary devices, Brian.
Oh, is that dangerous?
Well, no, not if you know what you're doing, no.
And as a matter of interest, what did the job used to be called?
Match fixing, Brian. We used to fix matches.
Terrific. OK, Lars, your special subject tonight is Australian usage.
Yes, Australian usage of the English language, Brian. The way use the...
Yeah, yes. the English language in Australia.
That's right.
Which is sometimes rather distinctive, isn't it?
Yes, we do have a very colourful way of expressing ourselves sometimes. That is my area of speciality.
Indeed. Your questions start now, Lars. Good luck.
Thank you.
What is it called when you say something you know to be false?
A policy.
No, not quite.
A reform. Is it a much needed and long overdue economic reform?
No. I'm sorry, Lars. It's a lie. Oh. Now, Lars, if you promised you were going to do something, then you did the opposite, what would you be?
Prime Minister, Brian, in no time.
No, you'd be a complete...
Treasurer. You'd be a complete treasurer.
No. You'd be a complete liar. Lars. Okay. Now, if you add to the cost of something by charging an impost which goes to the government, what's it called, Lars?
Nation building, Brian.
What is the actual amount called?
Oh, the actual amount, that would be referred to as a levy.
No, I'll give you a clue, Lars. It goes to the tax office.
Is it a gift?
No, it's not a gift, it's compulsory.
Oh, it's a co-payment.
No, Lars, I'm afraid it's a tax.
Brian, this is a bit unusual. Can I just stop you there? I mean, these answers you're providing and you're saying are the actual answers, they're just standard English usage.
Yeah, but the questions are about the use of English in Australia, Lars.
Yes, Brian, but your answers you're giving are really just the meaning of the actual words.
Yes, that's correct.
But I thought the way we use language in Australia was different.
Yes, a lot of people thought that, Lars, but it's not true.
It's a lie too.
Yep, I'm sorry. And you haven't done very well
don't worry about
Lars.
how badly I've done, Brian. I'm just delighted that words have actually got meanings.
Yes, it's a relief, isn't it?
It is. We know where we are now, which is tragic.
So, having listened to that, I urge you, all of you, to start phoning Peter Dutton's office and ask him questions in relation to Paladin and insider trading by politicians that know what contracts are being created and issued to companies like Paladin so that they can put money into share stock and benefit from their political decisions.